Hello Internet, welcome to Game Theory. The companion cube is a box with hearts on it. First, we need to know why we love the companion cube so much. Back in the 1950s, when psychology was still interesting because there were no limitations on human testing, Donald Hebb placed volunteers into extreme isolation, leaving them in small empty rooms with goggles and headphones to block out sensory input. The test was supposed to last 42 days. Test subjects barely made it 4, as they quickly descended into madness. In short, the aperture science testing would truly push subjects to their psychological limits as they wandered alone in room after room with no end in sight. Lonely people are much more likely than connected people to believe that inanimate objects have emotions and intentions. By the time Chell and the player reach Chamber 17, we're so ready for companionship, we'll give it to anything, including a glorified storage crate. Would you believe me if I said that the weight inside those weighted companion cubes came from the bodies of failed test subjects? First, we know it's physically possible that a human can fit into spaces much smaller than 0.1 cubic meters. So physically cramming a human into a cube is absolutely possible, but is it actually what's happening? To find out, we need to examine the way GLaDOS speaks about the companion cube. GLaDOS is far from a reliable source of information. Most of what she says is false, thus her insistence that the cubes are A, unable to talk, and B, should be ignored if they do, make it seem like the reverse is true, that they may be able to talk and that their advice should be heeded. That's certainly the experience former Aperture employee turned test subject Doug Ratman experienced. Ratman is shown to have conversations with the companion cube, and speaking of Ratman, throughout the games you see many of his ranty scribblings on the walls. In his first chamber, you see cubes over the faces of various pictures. These pictures are of people who have worked at the company, Ratman's friends, his co-workers, people he loved and cared about. If they were dead and shoved into cubes, it would make sense that he would put cube pictures over the top of them and have hearts drawn around them. And let's not overlook the message written here either. Quote, "The weighted companion cube does speak. I'm not hallucinating, you are." Then in Portal 2, GLaDOS adds,
I think that one was about to say, I love you. They are sentient, of course.
a human inside a cube would definitely qualify as a sentient creature. Throughout the entirety of both games, GLaDOS only uses words like worthless and useless to describe the value of human life. Not only has she opened up the possibility that the cubes can talk repeatedly, she refers to them using the same language she implements when talking about other human test subjects. Then there's the disintegration sound clip, when GLaDOS decides that she wants to bump one of these cubes off. Listen to it a few times. Can you hear buried in amongst the metallic clang a cry for help? And finally, a companion cube is never faced with the threat of a material emancipation grill. The material emancipation grill is a particle barrier set up to disintegrate any unapproved contraband leaving the testing chamber. Basically, any non-organic materials that are meant for that room and that room only. Why does this matter? Well, we've already discussed the companion cube's demise in the first Portal, that unforgettable incinerator scene where our cube friend is in the fiery furnace before we can even get close to the particle grid. Then in Portal 2, the one and only chamber in the entire game with a broken particle field just so happens to be the same one as the one and only chamber where you can interact with a companion cube. And why does it matter? Remember that organic test subjects are cleared to pass through these barriers, while cubes are not. So if these boxes did indeed contain the remains of humans, should a companion cube pass through, the exterior box would disappear, leaving only the curled up human inside. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.